The following project was produced by Newhalen School Senior Class in collaboration with the Newhalen Tribal Council, United States National Park Service, and Lincoln Peninsula School District through a National Science Foundation grant, obtained through Alaska Federation of Natives. The objective was to incorporate aspects of the local culture into the school's curriculum. Of paramount importance to the Newhalen people is the discovery and preservation of their history. Although this history is rich and significant, these old traditions tell us that there are at least 3 localities of significance in the Newhalen area. Some years ago, a road cut was constructed near the village at Pike Creek. Exposed in the road cut were prehistoric houses and quantities of stone artifacts. This large site could represent several different occupations and a considerable time depth, and may be culturally linked to the later sites remembered in the oral traditions. The potential loss of both the oral historical knowledge and archaeological resources is a matter of great concern to the village. This video is to serve as a summary report on the initial stages of the project. It has involved archaeological survey fieldwork, collections of oral histories, and research and identification of photograph collections. In the future, we hope to complete a National Register nomination for significant sites and begin community planning for the protection, preservation, and management of identified sites.
Part of Newhalen's Cultural Heritage Project has been an archaeological survey. These weeks have been some of the most educational and fun school days we have experienced. Almost every day, we went out to the site for hands-on training in the archaeology field. The first 2 weeks, we had the pleasure of working with 3 archaeologists from the National Park Service: Dale Vinson, Becky Salibi, and Martha Crow. They taught us the basics of fieldwork archaeology, including everything from transecting to digging test holes
transect
and
sweep
mapping
this way, then we'll just move everybody down and go back in another sweep parallel to the first one. We'll have covered that area. So, Martha will stay here and everybody...
To begin our survey of the site, we did a complete transect of the area, searching for depressions or any evidence of a historical village. A transect is to organize into a straight line and to make a complete sweep of the land. The transect allows us to find the boundaries of the village and to tag all features, which would help in both mapping and digging. The features that were marked were possible houses or cache pits.
Semi-subterranean houses. Here in this picture, the caption is the main line of the semi-subterranean houses. These trees are stacked up there, and there's the door. Looks like another entrance perhaps over here.
To end our first day, we put a stake into the ground in an accessible spot which would represent our site's main datum, our central point. We next took a global positioning satellite, our GPS reading, to get the exact latitude and longitude of the datum point. This central point would be utilized for mapping the village. Everything would be mapped according to this point.
Has my flag on. So, ILI 105.
And Dale put in the datum. So, in case you forgot what the datum is one, hopefully, somewhat permanent marker that's left on the site.
For the next 2 weeks, we broke up into 2 groups. One mapping, the other digging test holes and profiling. Certain dwellings or features were tested with a tool called a T-probe. This 3-foot T-shaped tool that was used to test soil had an end partially exposed, enabling us to see layers or strata.
Way down there is something like maybe the house floor. See, this just looks like maybe gravel or clay or something from just what we would call this sterile. It's below the cultural level.
We probed near the center of the feature, searching for anything cultural, such as charcoal, so we could send it out for carbon dating. If we found a questionable layer, we would next dig a 1-foot by 1-foot test hole to get a larger look at the layers, and also hoping to find artifacts or maybe even the floor of the dwelling.
But if you feel this floor, this feels kind of greasy.
My fingers. Look at the color. So what I'd call this would be like dark gray brown.
Very greasy.
Yeah, the greasiness I think is because it's mostly organics. Yeah. So I want to call this a very dark gray brown sandy organics.
17, is that right, Rick?
That's right, yeah.
17.
A profile is basically the same sort of test, but we use the bank of a road that was previously cut through the village to view the layers. We tried to avoid as much disturbance of the site as possible. We are not doing an actual dig at this point. First we cut a pretty good sized chunk of the side of the bank and began smoothing with trowels and cutting roots to see the layers better. We found very distinct layers of volcanic ash and also charcoal, which we think could have been from a forest fire. Using a number of techniques, we graphed the profiles and took soil samples, which will be used in analyzing any signs of cultural activity or dating.
Right there, 2-2.
Yeah.
Is there very dark brown? You know.
Is there another one?
There. There's
this
is the only one.
That's it. What about those?
What those?
What those? Those colors?
These ones?
No, these ones.
Those are just different colors.
Yeah,
They're all. That looks more like it to me. Maybe I'm blind. Huh? I am blind. Go down here.
No idea.
Okay.
If the tape falls off, all you have to do is get 0 back on that nail.
That's right.
Mark this.
Now what happened to that other plumb bob?
Where?
See, we're just trying to get the color of the soil.
Can I show you how to do it?
Is that what you want?
So then our next layer would be this one.
Which is that survey, you know, remember you messed up with
So let's
that
go
thing?
to
Yeah.
7.
Then you take the reason from that. Yeah, from the first one.
24 on 70.
Okay, we finally finished our profile. This is our profile. The reason why we picked this spot right here to do a profile is because we found a lot of artifacts above the creek down there, and we figured that maybe they'd been washed down by melted snow or rain, or there's been a lot of traffic through here. So we decided to check this place and see the stratigraphy and also see if we could find any artifacts. We started off by cutting this whole chunk off with using shovels and another tool called a trowel. You can see we also had to put in the colors of each layer.
Here's the roots that we started off first, and it went down to the red, red brown, orangey stuff there. We learned that most archaeology field work had to be exact, as was the mapping section of it. All the mapping measurements were recorded from the main datum, but because of the large village boundaries, 9 other sub-datums labeled from A to I were created.
Don't move, I'll show you.
We need to get, there's 3 cache pits right out on the edge of the point. We need to get that point on the map because that's where the lake's over there and then the river's there. That's where it comes out. So that's an important part of the map. Is the point right over here? Yeah. You can see that little flag there.
Before we started mapping any feature, we would determine the possible shape of it and decide where we get our bearing points. We would then get the degree measurement and distance in meters of each corner from the selected datum point. We found that most features were rectangular shaped possible dwellings or small circular cache pits. All data was recorded and used to create a scale map of the site. From the scale map, we noticed a pattern of cache pits usually located close to a dwelling.
It looks like a triangle wheel.
It does.
Right here it goes this way.
Okay.
And it's kind of circle, because see if you look at
204 degrees. 204 degrees at how long?
9.6 meters.
Okay, go to the second corner. How far is that one, Chas?
14 meters.
Okay, it's 9 meters.
Okay.
54 degrees, 9 meters. Actually, why don't you make it 9.2 meters? Change that to 9.2.
54 degrees?
Yeah.
9.1.
Did you say 9.2 or?
9.2 meters. And I have a reading for from the bottom of the pit when you're ready. Just let me know.
Okay.
Okay, it's the same bearings. I'm holding the tape tight, but it's 7.
Due to bad weather and road conditions, we were only able to make it to the gorge site one time, which was the site we had originally intended on exploring. At the gorge, we found about 80 deep cache pits in the little 30-meter square that we transected. Based on our observations at both sites, we have theorized that the site ILI 106 was a summer fish camp, and the Pike Creek site ILI 105 was the winter village of possibly the same group of people.
There were several, not several, but I think there were three main villages up there. That's the main village really was up at the gorge. That's the big one. And this one was sort of a winter village where that lake and that lake. And there was a village right at the mouth of that creek. And also there used to be a lot of fish used to go from that creek and spawn in that lake. But that's, I think that's not anymore. But there's a lot of disturbance there. And this here village here was sort of a winter dwelling. And the others was like this rapids where it was summer camps, and the main big village was up there in the gorge.
both sites we have found artifacts such as arrowheads and flakes that have been uncovered by road construction. The intricate work and design of these tools have been categorized as Arctic Small Tools or AST. This has led the archaeologists to believe that these points may be 1,000 to 3,000 years old. In the future, one of our main goals is to have this site preserved and protected as a historical site. The work we are presently doing will be part of an application for a state and national registry of the site. This is the first step in preservation.